Hi, everybody. So I am on the west side of Manhattan. This is where I came to practice for the Appalachian Trail for my hike. I would hike up and down here. This park goes all the way from south to north in Manhattan, and I would walk, I think it was 7 miles each way, multiple times a day to prep for my AT through hike and also for the Camino. So it's fun to come back here and kind of reminisce a little bit, and I thought it'd be a good place for me to kind of update you on what's going on. But before I do, I wanted to ask a favor of you all. I have entered my last video, that video that went up about a month ago called The Entire Appalachian Trail in 5 Minutes. I've entered in a contest that the Appalachian Trail Conservancy is running called myatstory.org, and I've put the link below so you can go to that. But I'd ask everybody if you'd be willing to kind of go to the link and see, look at all the different videos that people have applied, have entered, and see if you like mine the best, and if so, to vote for it. So with that, let's get into the update. Rather than look at me this whole video, I thought it'd be more interesting for you if I did what you're used to, what I'm used to, and that is just taping my walks and sharing my thoughts with you as I walk. And so that's what I'm going to do. This is some of New York. You're going to get to see what I see on a daily basis. This is the park I mentioned before on the west side, but you're also going to see Central Park because I took some footage of walking to and from work. So as I'm talking about the trail, you'll get to see some of New York and what I see there, and it should be interesting because it'll be juxtaposed to the trail, so you'll see just how dramatically different it is. Let's start where we left off, which is after I touched the Mount Katahdin sign. Or, well, let's start right before there, because as I was coming up, I almost got to the sign. I was probably half a mile away when some other through hikers came down that I knew, and I was talking to them, and they said, "Oh man, it's so crowded up there," which was my worst fear. And I couldn't see it because it was all in a cloud. I didn't know how many people were up there, but I just decided to sit and watch the mountain a little bit. And there was this tremendous fog that was brushing over the mountain, and it looked like it might thunderstorm a little bit. So I thought maybe people would come down. And sure enough, I sat there for maybe 45 minutes, and about 40 people came down, and I said, it's time to go up. But before I did, Cheap and Easy, one of the guys I had been hiking with, who I left back at the camp the night before, I didn't think he'd be coming up today. He came by. So he was there, which was great because I got to summit with a friend. And you may remember this shot at the end there where I'm coming up to the sign, and Cheap and Easy is the guy on the left with the blue shirt there. But it was great to see him there because it meant I had somebody to kind of share it with and somebody to take photos of me, and I got to take some photos of him. This is the great photo of Cheap and Easy that he loves, and is his new Facebook page. And then he got some great photos of me too, which is, you know, these photos. I think I'm looking at them now, and I just I I can't. I remember that moment so clearly. You know, the joy that I don't think I'll ever forget. It was one of the highlights of my life, and just such a beautiful moment. And wow. Before I came down Katahdin, there was one last thing I had to do, and that was release my stones. For those of you that watched my mid-hike gear review in its entirety, you know at the end I mentioned that I had picked up a small pebble at the beginning of the AT, and then another one at the top of Jacob's Ladder after I had that evening. Then after that horrible night in Rome Mountain, and another after the rain in Virginia. And I carried these stones with me because they held a lot of my fears, and I used them as a symbolic gesture to carry them the whole way to Mount Katahdin, and finally up here let them go. And that's what I'm doing here. I have these stones, and I'm kind of letting all that go. So after I released the stones there, I kind of stayed up there for a little bit longer until I was the only one up there. And then it was getting late, and I decided it was time to go down Katahdin. Cheap and Easy had already gone down about a half hour earlier, and I started going down, and I had another great surprise because the other guys were coming up just as I started going down. I saw Soup and a Diatom and Sherpa Crow, and it was just such a wonderful way to kind of complete the circle and share that last day with my friends and these guys that I had spent the last 10 days with, and it was really nice to do that. Fast forwarding a little bit, that was over 3 months ago. It's hard to believe it's gone so quickly. And we came down the mountain in the dark. We were it was really getting dark as we got to the base of it. It took us over 3 hours to get down, and we got a ride, fortunately, into Millinocket, where we stayed at the hostel, and then the following day we got a ride into Bangor, which was about an hour away, where we were all going to leave from. But we got to spend a couple days together. It was really nice and celebrate, and then I came back on the 28th, and the 29th I was taking this walk that you're looking at here through Central Park to work. So I went to work the day after I came home, which I don't recommend. People ask me all the time, what's the hardest thing to get readjusted to being back in New York? And it's this, it's the crowds. I'm amazed at how many people New York has now. I didn't notice it before really, but having the stark difference between the trail when there were days when I wouldn't see anybody to this, it's difficult. The other question I've gotten the most since my return is, am I still a non-smoker? As many of you know that followed me from the beginning, I guess in the second month I announced that on that first day when I walked through the archway there in Amicalola State Park that I quit smoking. And I'm happy to say that I am still a non-smoker. I really don't even get the urge too much anymore. I carried that vapor cigarette with me the whole trail just to be on the safe side, and I did use it every once in a while just to, if I really got the urge. But it dissipated slowly over time, and I still keep it with me, but I very rarely get it out. So I'm happy to say that, if nothing else, the Appalachian Trail helped me become a non smoker after over 30 years. So I did want to talk briefly about the comments. I they've meant so much to me. I never realized, I've said it before, but I just want to say I never realized how much that would mean to me. And so many of you reached out to me in those last three videos. I think it was 600 or so comments, and I've been attempting to get back to everybody, but I'm really tardy with that, and I apologize. And there were two other times when I really wasn't able to get back to comments because I got overwhelmed, and that was in the rain in Virginia. And after my summit on August 25th, I did stop responding to comments there too. And there was some speculation. Some people figured out that I was done and that sort of thing, and they were asking questions. And I was so worried to respond to anything because I was afraid I'd give it all away. And I really wanted the story to unfold the way it did for me. I wanted you to experience that, and that's why I didn't respond to those. And looking back at some of those comments now, I realize there's nothing to respond to now because I think all of the questions have been answered. But if I missed your comment, please leave a comment for me on this video. If there's something that you asked and I just skipped it for some reason, or I missed it, or I was in one of my periods where I got overwhelmed and couldn't respond to the comments, please leave a comment here, and I will get much better here on out trying to get back to everybody. Well, this video is getting kind of long, and there's still so much I have to tell you, and about what I've learned, and kind of what I've taken away from the trail. There's a lot, and so I guess I'm gonna have to do another video, and I don't know when I'll have time to do it. I do plan on doing my gear video next, which I hope to get up in the next couple weeks, because that really is, I think, from future through hikers, the most valuable review, the kind of post. What I ended with essentially, which is really the essentials. But in the meantime, I hope you will go to myatstory.org and look at the submissions. I think it's the semifinals now, and hopefully, if you like my video, you'll vote for it. She's going to run and go vote for me right now, and so I hope you'll do that too. I think voting's open until the 18th. Thanks, everybody.